I'd like to call this meeting to order. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Does anyone have any pecuniary or financial interest to declare? Having seen none, a motion for the minutes of the previous meeting.
Moved by Brian Pekoski, seconded by Maureen McMillan. Motion to approve the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held on April 10th, 2025, open session.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor? Carried. And just before we get started, I just want to review a couple of things. If it's okay, I'd like to discuss all wage items enclosed at the conclusion of the meeting, if that's possible. At this time last year, we were looking at the following scenario. Our difference between revenue and expenses was $1,072,621. This year, it is $505,360. So last year at this time, we had to come up to balance our budget for $1 million. Here are some examples of revenue neutral items, which equates to our budget being balanced. Keep in mind, 1% for a tax increase is equal to $34,456. Okay? So if you'll follow me with the provisional budget, everyone has that? Just go through a couple examples. So if we go to page 2, account 1600-5020, it says fire protection grant of $15,720. Then if you turn to page 6, account 2000-2005, you will see that same amount, $15,270. That's one example. If you go to page 2 again, I'm just flipping back and forth from revenue to expense, okay? Just so everyone understands. Account on page 2, 1600-5244, which is called Emergency Preparedness Grant. You see the amount $32,261. And then if you flip to page 9,
You know, it's all written down, you gotta slow down.
I cheated, sorry. And then if you go to page 9, account 2900-2005. And it says emergency preparedness expense, $32,261. So you see how they're balancing to zero? So the grant less the expense nets to zero. Okay? Then if you go to page 2, back again, account 1600-5250, it says OCIF component based, and it shows $305,734. And then if you go to same page, 1600, account 1270, you'll see an amount $78,927. So that total is $384,661. Then if you go to page 13, sort of a boring exercise, but here's a point. Then if you go to page 13, account 3075, account 2900, you'll see that number appear, 384,661. So it nets out to zero. Okay? Then I'm going to show you another example. I got 2 more examples to show. Page 2, account 1600-5090, which is called Experience Ontario Canada Day. The amount is $38.69. And then if you go down farther, 1650-1210, That number is 6,000. Is it changed?
They're just two different grants.
No, but it gets totaled into the Canada Day, right? Right? So then if you go to page 19, count 7,100, 5030, and you'll see Canada Day 19,200. So our net Canada Day for expense is 9,331. Okay, so you're taking that 19 less the 2 grants that Colton got us. Okay, so if someone says to you, cost us how much money, you know now it cost us $9,331 for Canada Day. Okay,
Sorry, what number are you on, sir?
Page 19.
I know page 19. What number?
5030.
5030.
You should see 19. Should say 19,000.
Yep, okay. 19,9, yeah.
Okay, so if you take off Colton's 2 grants, it equals 9,300. So if people ask you what it is, that's what Canada Day cost you. You're okay, Carl?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Last example. Go to page 3. Okay, and if you look at the total sewer revenue, 176,289. And then right below that, the water revenue is 184,722. And then if you go to page 17, okay, before we go there, those two added up equals, and I'll just use ballpark, 361,000. Then if you go to page 17, and if you look at the total water is 317,063, and the total sewer is 217. So that adds to 534. So there's a difference of 173,637. Okay. So the question that I have for Tammy is, who pays for this 173,000 difference? That's my question to you, because when we take total expense and total revenue, subtract it, I know you've got something in here also, which I saw. Does that tie into that? Okay. So that's a question I want everyone to keep in the back of their mind. So we have to balance that because water and sewer equals 0. So now we have to determine where we get the 173,000 to equal 0. Okay? And that's my spiel. So let's move on to correspondence. The municipal report.
So that's just the decisions made to date.
Okay, everyone sees that page? You got that last week?
It was in the package.
Okay.
Which page are we on now?
So this one is like this. It says decisions to date. Does anyone have any questions about that? I think we got that last week, didn't we? In the package. You would have got this in your package last week.
Oh,
If there are no questions, we'll move on to Tammy.
Okay, so in my municipal report, the 2025 water and wastewater and wastewater billing penalty and interest amounts transferred to the tax roll in 2024 and the increase in aqua costs, the projected budget deficit for 2025 is $86,387. To address the billing, interest, and penalty obligations without impacting the 2025 tax rates or requiring cash flow support from the general fund, the water and wastewater deficit may be financed through the application of the 2024 surplus on the Duluth special area rate in the amount of $63,858, along with $82,529 from the Ottawa River Power Corporation Reserve. This would leave $0 in the special area rate reserve and $46,298.77 in the Corp reserve, and would decrease the overall budget estimate deficit of to $419,973. Given that there are only 389 users, which are 308 wastewater and 81 water connected to the water and wastewater systems, and with the user rates already scheduled to increase by 10% annually through to 2028, it's recommended that Council explore alternate findings, strategies for the ongoing operation and capital needs of the water and wastewater plants as these costs continue to increase. Continuing to place the full financial burden on a limited user base risks creating affordability challenges and community resistance. Investigating other revenue sources such as grants, reserves, or area-wide levies could help ensure long-term sustainability without imposing further financial pressures on existing users and assist in addressing prior years' accumulated water and wastewater deficits. So basically my report is indicating to council that there is a deficit in the water wastewater of $86,387. I'm not sure where you're getting your number without actually looking at all the aspects in the budget.
Yeah, mine was just to take the four numbers and subtract them.
So
And you have to fudge or whatever you do.
that's right.
But I'll just stop you there for a minute. Just let me explain. So before we fudge, okay, maybe that's not a good word to use at a finance committee meeting, but before we adjust those numbers, when we determine, like when you came to 419, that the difference, everything that is that, the difference between mine and yours, that is in that 419 also, right?
In 5.
Sorry?
Right now it's in the 5. It's in
Right, everything,
505 to 60.
but everything is in the 505.
Yes.
Everything. So including the interest and all those items that you broke down the last time in April 7th, all of those items are into the provisional budget. So that's a pure number, 505. So, and you want to reduce it to 4?
By offsetting by, instead of cash flowing like we normally have done in the past, cash flowing the water and wastewater deficit, we're suggesting that we use the special area rate surplus from 2024 and the reserve amount from the Ottawa River Power to offset that cost, which would take the bottom line from 505 to 419. So it zeroes itself out, just like what you had indicated prior.
Yeah. Because, like, if you were to take the 505 and divide it by, what was the number I said, 34,000 to get a percentage. So what we're doing is we're lowering the tax percentage to everybody in the municipality. Do you know where I'm going with that? So right now we're at 505. With Tammy's reduction, it goes to 400 something. 419. So we're lowering the tax amount for each individual in the municipality. Questions?
We haven't determined the tax rate.
No, but I'm saying
In the municipality.
incrementally, that 34,000 will decrease the tax rate.
It could. We're the ones who are going to set the tax rate for the municipality.
I understand that. But the total number, the total dollar value is decreasing.
That is a better way of saying it, or a different way of saying it. But
Sure. Questions? I'm sure everyone has a question.
projects that happened with the water and wastewater, so Aqua didn't complete some of them. So there may be a surplus at the end of the year, and that surplus then could go into 2026 and keep going.
Okay.
But at every budget time, unless that surplus is put into your provisional budget, there's a difference. It's not revenue neutral. Right?
So right now, basically, I need council's decision is does council want to do that? Or does council want to cash flow it like we've done in previous years?
I would suggest that it makes sense to do what you recommended.
Can how much money do we have in Ottawa River Power Reserve, our corporation, Tammy?
Right now, there's 68,827.77. So if we took up the 22, there would be 46,298.77 left in there.
By the way, we aren't getting dividends this year. So it'll still leave us with a reserve of,
It would leave us still with a reserve of 46,298. Yeah.
Harold?
No, I agree with the way, the way.
Brian?
Yeah, I think if that's the way, that's the best way, I think.
So what that is doing, it's decreased, it will decrease our tax rate, whatever we end up with.
We set our tax rate.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not going to determine the tax rate. We're going to determine the 7 people around here that get to vote are going to determine the tax
But
rate.
it'll help. It'll decrease the difference between revenue and expense.
You bet.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page.
Well, if you talk about it like that, then yes, we can get on the same page.
Okay, so let's show of hands. So Tammy, you and I will sit down just to determine what the difference between just taking the 4 numbers and your number, just to make sure
I
it's,
can provide that to council.
please and thank you. Did you want to go over page 2? Tammy? Did you want to go over page 2 as far as the council?
So that's mine.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure who's.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So it's just a report for council concerning the increase in honorarium and meetings. So with a 3% increase, council meetings would go from 156 to 160. A 3% increase in the mayor's honorarium would be from 1560 to 1611. And a 3% increase in council honorarium would be from 728 to 750. So based on this information, the budget line for the council wages would increase from 130,000 up to 137,800.
Questions, discussion?
I'm fine the way we are, it doesn't matter to me. You can only buy 2 bottles of pop and a chocolate bar with that.
Okay, show of hands
Or,
to accept this.
Well, we decided 2 years ago that the right thing to do was to keep these positions, councillor positions, in line with the same increase that we did with staff. Last year, we didn't do that. We did it the 1 year. I recommend that we continue to do that. So I'd be voting yes if you were to vote.
yeah, I agree. I think we have to keep it in line yearly.
Carl, or let's show of hands. We accept it? Yep.
motion report is just the percentages for the tax increase. So it's just a 2, 3.55, 7, 10, and 12%, just to give the committee an idea of what would be generated dollar-wise through taxes if they were to increase by those percentages or percentages.
And is this based on the 2025 estimate, or should it be the 2024 actual?
2024 actual,
2024 actual?
yes.
Okay. So my number's 34, 38, 216.
Would do the growth. Sorry, it would have the growth in it. This has growth.
Okay, so you multiply it by that. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okey-dokey. Is there any unfinished business?
Oh, I have one question. The truck is something, remember you were gonna look for a vehicle, have you looked on anywhere with that?
Yeah, we can discuss that like later on or now,
When we get to
whatever.
his grouping.
Okay, we're gonna go through it.
I do have some.
How about a bicycle?
Just wanna make sure after driving that truck.
Okay, is there any unfinished business? Okay, any questions in the revenue section? So we're back to the provisional budget. So the revenue section is the first 3 pages. I just have a couple of questions. Tammy, maybe you can help. The banners, there was a grant for $4,028. Is that not in the revenue section? Or did I miss that today?
I'm not sure, I'm going to have to, do you remember, Charlene, where Will had suggested to put that? Okay, we'll have to double check, actually.
Okay. And this one is for you, Tammy. That transfer from gas tax, you have to add the 1196, that additional amount. Remember that extra piece of paper we got?
Yeah, I advised council at the last meeting that that was already received in November of 2024. It doesn't affect the 2025 budget.
Oh, so you put it was in last year's?
It was in last year's.
Okay. And under fees and charges, what is,
Can you give us a number, please?
which one?
What your,
Oh, where I was?
yes, please.
Transfer on gas tax, 1650, 1270. But my question was answered because it was in last year's.
Okay.
Next one is account 1700, 7120. What is payroll credit? We budget $30,000 there. And we've already,
That's other GT revenues. That's what we're expected from other sources that there's no specific place to put them, so they go into GT revenues.
so there's no line item, it's just,
So that is, we received from the WSIB, a Health and Safety Excellence Program, so we got $29,164.
oh, okay.
So then we had to budget, Will said to put 30 in there to offset it.
That's good, we like that.
And that's what other GT revenues is, it's miscellaneous that we receive.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on the revenue side? Okay, moving on to the expenses, which starts at the bottom of page 3. So the first one is legislative. Does anyone have any questions in regards to the council expenses? I just have two, Tammy. The first one, the conferences and trade shows. We've already spent $98.98 and the budget's $14.5. Do we anticipate any other expenses coming in for the rest of this year for conferences?
There is that trade show.
No.
No.
Because if there's no other expenses and this is it, we could lower that budget to 10,000.
I think when we were discussing it, we got
Page 4, Carol.
Money's paid by the council. Ted, you don't have a fire one, right? And was that the one in Cornwall last year you guys went to?
Trade show, yes.
We're not going because it's in Woodstock. It's too far there.
Okay.
And like I said, the finance meeting, Rankin County's holding it there at Petawawa next year, so
Yeah.
we'll help out more wherever we can.
So, Maureen and Bill, do you guys have expenses for this past week?
No.
No expenses? So then, we could lower it to 10, right? Because if this is it, then that's it? Or do you want to leave a buffer?
Yeah. No, I will be asking council, I'm hoping to attend the Good Governance, the AMO's Good Governance Day in, where is it? Almond.
Oh, that's
coming up
right.
in June.
That's right.
So I was gonna bring that up tonight, or tomorrow night at council meeting. Ask for council approval on that. I mean, that would be a small amount.
Yeah. So why don't we make that down to 11,000 then? So knock off 3,500.
Anyone else wants to register for that, think about it. I got it kind of fast. Yes, Sarah.
Speedy Gonzalez.
And my last question in this bucket is the very last line, miscellaneous, 88.90. That went up.
It did for the Township Staff Service Awards.
and the OPP, the checks for all the council.
You have to do it. There's a fee to that?
Or to get the criminal reference check, yes.
And they're gonna charge us?
They always do.
Yeah.
There's approximately $50, I believe. 41 for a criminal reference check.
Okay. Are there any questions with administration? We're on page 5 now in case anyone's... Any questions for Treasury? Asset management. Administration building. The 5,000 for the back door, or the, in administration building, is that for the back door? That was last year's, was it?
Yeah, that number that they, not 100% sure if that's the Joel, I know it's in the structure.
I don't believe it. That was on the else.
There was something about, he had something budgeted last year, we just brought it forward to this year?
We're talking about the side entrance.
The side entrance. I think that's where that was. I think.
I think it's under building maintenance. I don't think it would be in repairs and maintenance. I think it's under the building maintenance.
Okay.
I think the repairs and maintenance is the general, it's just a general fund to fix the miscellaneous projects that happen.
Okay. So we're okay with that 5,000
Yeah.
like that?
Where's the money for the office then? Where is that?
Right at the bottom, the 13,500. That's for the windows.
Okay, oh, I get, okay, that's for the windows, and then,
I can, what I will do is I will double check with Dale.
It just makes it a little more clearer, that's all. Anything else for administration building? Fire department. I have two questions. Page 6, account 2024 heating fuel propane. Should we increase that budget? Because we're already at, we're over budget already.
One thing you should know is heating fuel and propane, we're also paying under this budget for the warehouse. We have the warehouse on City Street, plus we've got Old Farmhouse.
Okay. So, council, question is, do we want to increase that budget? Because we know we're already over budget. We have the opportunity to do it now, so if we want to do it, let's do it.
I think we have to.
We should.
Well, I'd say no, because we're gonna underspend somewhere else in the budget, and it's gonna make it up. If we increase that, then it's gonna widen the gap between our, and we'll have to raise taxes that much. That would change taxes.
It's just a question on the floor if we want to. We do agree on that, Bill. So, do we want to leave it the same? And then that'll be overrun then. Is that okay? Okay? Somehow I didn't mark down, going down further, count 2,500, equipment purchases. That was for 15,000, same as last year. Was that a specific item this year?
I'm gonna buy 2 sets of bunker gear. Okay, I just put an order in for hoses. We had no spares whatsoever. So the bunker gear is about $3,500 per unit, so to put 2 of that, it's 7,000. And I think it was almost 3,000 per week.
Okay. And Maureen, you were on the building maintenance before, so account 2,071.40. That's for the interior of the fire hall. Okay. And that was 21,000 of that budget is for the interior. Any other questions on the fire group? Building department. And everyone understands why that amount in account 2225 is 32,000. I think somebody had asked about that last meeting. That was for Brennan's Creek. Any questions for the building department assistant? Any questions on facility assets? Sewage inspection. Bylaw enforcement. Health and safety. Animal control.
Oh, it's 0, okay. I've just seen contractor, we don't have one, so it's 0.
Policing.
Oh, sure.
What was the 8,000 again for under policing?
For the, police services board.
Police,
The police services.
police services board. Community emergency measures. The next several pages are all Dean's. I don't think I'll go through each one individually unless someone has something they want to bring up.
Yep. Emergency preparedness expense, 32,000. You have that? Too much money.
Sorry.
Grant.
Oh,
What was the question?
no, it's good. Emergency preparedness. It's a grant.
Sandbagger.
That was paid through grant.
I know.
The revenue side.
That was account 5010, right? Is that your question?
Yeah. Checking.
Okay, anybody else have any questions as far as with Dean and his accounts? Bob?
You had mentioned Sandbagger. There are 3 in the county. County has 1, BLR has 1, and we have 1. We have been requested to make it available if necessary. I didn't get a clear response from council on that.
No problem.
Plus,
I have a problem. Do you?
Sandbagger.
Well, bring it up.
I had a discussion with you on that, Bob. So some of the concerns I had were, and I think you mentioned about moving it. Who's responsible if it gets broken or stolen or whatever? It's ours now. Is there any written contract for that to be covered, or how does that work?
Now, BLR is a little different than ours. Apparently, they have a trailer with theirs. You can hook up the back of a half-ton club. We don't happen to have that facility, so I've been looking at my buddy Dean here, to see if anybody could arrange for it.
The other one was if we need it, but obviously you said it we come first if it.
It's our priority.
If there's a need
It's
for-
here. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And if it's been moved, and now all of a sudden we're flooding out of Brown Lake, we need it back, we'll get it.
I think in that situation, you should be patting me on the back. I think whoever borrows it, they should be coming to pick it up.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yes.
also an alternative.
And bringing it back.
And bring it back in the same
Same shape as-
repair that we left.
That's
That's my opinion.
that's the concern, yeah.
So when we got that through a grant, what did other municipalities got through that grant? Do you know, any idea?
I mean, through chatting with our representative, a lot of people apply for bunker gear, that type of stuff, but
So my problem with lending it out is when I first got on council, we were in an agreement with 2 other municipalities sharing a piece of equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And it was nothing but a headache. My concern is if we put it out there, it's gonna come back, it's gonna be broke, and our taxpayers are gonna pay
If it
for
was
it.
paid the repairs on it.
I got it. We gotta help each other out, but in the same sense, those people all had the same chance to get a sandbagger the same time we did. So I'm against it.
Okay. So how many votes, so you didn't get everyone voting? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I need direction from council on it, so I need these 4 votes to say yea or nay.
Okay, so for him to put that into the log so it can be borrowed? Yes or no? All for yes. Do we have anybody that votes yes? That he can use it for other municipalities?
Yes.
I'm yes. All no's. Bill?
I wasn't a yes or no.
Yeah, yes, with an agreement in place, like you were saying. They come get it, they bring it back in the same shape. I don't know if you would need it, you know, I don't know whether municipalities have contracts for that sort of a thing,
Right.
like for borrowing equipment.
Not that I'm aware of.
We had that Dayu or whatever we had.
Ted explained what happened the last time we were in
Yeah.
a situation like that with a different piece of equipment.
I know, I would just hate to be in the same situation. I have support from our neighboring municipalities, so that's what I'm saying.
I got no problem when, like, the last time when we had the flood in 2019, that, you know, everybody was looking for sandbags and stuff like that, and we had like over 30,000. So like, I have no problem with that, and then they just replenish us back at the same amount of what we did, because we went to, was it Maston or Whitewater or something, we got sandbags that time for ourselves, because we couldn't get them at the time. Sandbags, I would say go ahead, but yeah, it's up to council with the piece of equipment.
Was it that Dayu we had or whatever? Oh, no,
It's nothing but a headache.
that was a pain in the,
So what do we do? Are we
So I guess, yeah, how many are no? 2? 3 no's?
I'm not saying anything because I have no idea if it's a written contract. I'm not sending it out there. I'm not gonna say yes, send it out there without something in place.
I don't think that never came up, did it? About having a contract that,
Well, we had a meeting last week there, talking very open generalities. That's where I know there's 3 sandbaggers available right now, at least 3 in the county. And I had mentioned, when he mentioned about us loaning it out, I said we had to discuss liability. So I would be picking it up and turning it on, you know, uninjured or at least repaired, as the case may be. But now you're into legal jargon and contracts, and I don't think that's the intent of emergency management.
No, and it might fall under the same as mutual aid, so if you call in mutual aid and NAW comes and our truck breaks, that's not your responsibility, that's NAW's responsibility. So if we lend out equipment, an emergency management plan, it could be the same.
Agreed, except you do have a mutual aid account. You have a contract set up.
Yeah. Because I know NAW had, the truck broke at Eganville and it cost like 10 grand to fix it. That's,
Sure.
And like Bob was saying, yes, it's good to, you know, help out neighboring municipalities, but at the end, the Ted was saying comes back, because this machine, the sandbag, you have to load it with a piece of equipment. So you know yourself, if somebody from another municipality owns it, smashes one end down, who's responsible for that? That's a big repair, and we have it like in pristine condition. It's, but again, it's
okay, so I think I see. Brian, did he give you enough background to make a decision, or is?
Well, if you don't vote, that's a negative right off.
Yes, it
You
is.
should know that.
So 2 no's, 3 no's. Bill's an undecided or no vote, and
No.
Brian's a no vote. So, no.
Okay, we'll deal with that.
We're on the roads.
I shouldn't have picked that number.
Any questions for Dean? Dean?
that went into the fire department. That's not Bob's problem.
Oh no, he just jumped in. We passed him a long time ago. He just came back. We were talking sandbagger. Dean, I guess we can't talk about your 2 roads until tomorrow night, right?
I'm not gonna do it tomorrow.
You're shaking. We can't talk about it now.
What do you want to talk about? Yeah, council already decided on the roads.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
RFPs should be, will be available for, Dean will bring all that information to the May 20th meeting, is it 20th?
Okay. Okay. I was
That's why
jumping.
he's not coming tomorrow.
I was just jumping ahead of myself, that's all.
And he's coming on that day so that we can provide council with that information.
I was just hoping to get more good news tonight. Okay. Okay, so we're skipping all the way to page 16, okay? Or I guess we should go to the bottom of page 15, streetlights. Any questions about streetlights? Garbage collection. Moloch. Landfill. Recycling. Water treatment plant. Sewer treatment plant.
I have a question on recycling, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So does the wages go a change on recycling when Miller starts picking it up or whoever's picking it recycling up?
No. Where were we? Sewer treatment plant. Medical center. Count 6,300, 2,400. Repairs and maintenance, that's 7,000. Is that for the plumbing upgrades?
I believe some 7,000, I believe some 110, for normal wear and tear.
Just a curious question, just above that, the legal fees for the medical center. Should we, just curious, why would have that amount there?
I will have to double check that, to see what exactly it was that's in there, because last year it was,
5,600?
1,632, so I'd have to take a look. I
Okay.
wasn't prepared for answering that.
Recreation administration?
Can I bring up a question?
Oh, by all means.
Do we break even on the medical center?
Otherwise, it's still, it's like, the 6 was, that was the usual.
I mean, between rent,
Yes.
So Carl has a question.
Do we break even?
Do we break even
With
with the medical
rental.
center?
So on.
Like I've provided council that information before, no, that's something council would need to look at to increase, if they would like to increase the rent. I provided that, I believe, in my first, the first budget report
Okay,
that I
sorry.
gave them, yeah, and it hasn't changed.
That was for all fees.
Specifically though, the medical center, I had singled out to show what we brought in and what was spent, and what, what council's options are with that. But again, all of our fees need to be relooked at, and,
Yeah, it should be revenue neutral, actually. I think
That would be the perfect situation.
Pardon?
That would be the perfect situation.
Revenue neutral, yeah.
We do need to address that and fees and services, all of our fees. I don't know that we necessarily have to do it as a part of the budgeting process
Right.
now, but that should be on our agenda pretty soon.
Tammy, we wouldn't need a full night to do that. We could do that at a council meeting. Like if you prepare that with us? No?
no, you would have to have a committee meeting.
Like after we finish all this budget stuff, we can maybe map out a date for that then?
That's what council wishes, sure.
Do you think we're actually going to finish this budget process at some point?
Oh, yeah. We are, it's asbestos. Did we do recreation administration? Library. And I know everyone's been saving their questions for the next one. Community development.
I think you had some comments to that.
Yeah. So I understand that, you know, new vehicle is a heavy expenditure, but I feel like for the sense of, you know, the assurance that whenever I want to go somewhere, it starts, and I don't have to go a booster pack around, and that is now a new issue. At the end of the day, you know, I'm sure I'd be able to get the truck to work for another year, but it comes down to reliability. You know, like I drive a lot in the summer with events, going to different places, getting supplies, all that stuff. Definitely don't need a 2500, but I truly feel, you know, for I think my safety, peace of mind, etc., that, you know, the truck would be beneficial to me. I mean, Maureen, you could barely get in the truck whenever we were on the environmental auction tour.
I knew you would get on that.
I drove it once and I won't drive it again.
You know, I mean, like it's, me and Dean are going to have it looked at to see what's wrong with the battery. We don't know if it's just a faulty battery or if it's something like alternator grounds, etc. So,
I think we asked you to bring some
yeah,
significant
yeah.
prices.
So, Tim,
Find one for $500.
when I asked him what he has in the used inventory, he said that the only one he had that, you know, would fit my description is a 2019 F-150 extended cab with 80,000 on it, and that'd be around 28 plus tax. Ford Maverick, which is a hybrid vehicle, eco-friendly, looks good on us. It's like a SUV truck mix, but it has the box, and that's 46,000. He gave us he gave me like different options, so we could take it off. We could take it over 60 at 4.99 with 0 down, and that'd be $995 monthly. And then we could lease it for 48 months, and then 16,000 kilometers per year. 678 with 0 down, taxes included. And then a Ranger's all around the same numbers, and the Ranger's just one down from an F-150. It's around 56, 57.
So tell us more about the 28,000 one.
So it's a Ford F-150, so a full-size truck. Has 4x4 extended cab. So
What color is it? White?
I believe it's white, yellow.
Oh, it's gotta be red.
But yeah, 80,000 on it. Tim says it's a real clean truck. He texted me that April 14th, or emailed me April 14th saying it'd be available in a few weeks. So I find it fitting that now is kind of a few weeks since April 14th, so it's probably available now. And he said 28, 29 plus taxes.
I must remind council, we still need to follow our procurement policy. So these are just prices to give council an update as to like what the used ones are going for, but we still need to follow our procurement policy.
So what would the process for that be?
I believe would it be an RFP?
Yeah.
Request for proposal.
So, council, question. Can we go ahead and process and start the process of doing an RFP for this vehicle?
You still have to come up with an amount to pay for it and how that's going to be paid, and that will have to be reflected in the budget, but it doesn't mean that that one will come in at the budgeted amount that council has determined.
So, suggestions? Should we start the process of this with a dollar value? Is that what you're asking we should do?
Not me.
We have to decide if we're going to get a new truck and how much we're going to spend. My opinion is if we are interested in the used one, that's what our RFP is for that amount. Because I honestly don't think anybody else is gonna put in for it anyways.
You don't think anyone else is what?
Nobody else will, no
Yeah.
other dealers go,
right.
put in for a used truck, I almost guarantee you that, so. If we are gonna spend that much money, then we have to figure it out.
So is it advisable to put the amount in at 28, or should we go a little higher? What's the,
Well, your plus taxes as well, right?
well, no, we don't take tax.
Well, 80% of it.
No, we don't take tax in this. Just straight value.
Well, no.
Yeah, I know we take tax, but we don't include it in our price, in our budget.
We should
Yeah.
include some of it, because we don't,
Oh, you don't get it all back?
we do
You're
not.
right.
No.
It's the
We
flip.
pay it down for
Okay, so the 28, should we increase that to 30, let's say? 31? Anybody else have a feel for it?
Is it advisable to go used rather than new? Are we cheaping out? Should we be getting it?
What about the lease one? What was the number on that?
So a lease for a Ford I didn't get a lease for a Ranger, but a lease for a Ford Maverick is for 48 months, 16,000 kilometers per year, 678 with 0 down, taxes included.
Then in 4 years, we have to hand it in or buy it out.
I'm not a big fan of the lease. I don't-
That's what we do with our plow trucks all the time. We lease them. and
Lease
we
them.
buy them, yeah.
Oh, lease to buy? Any suggestions that are on the table?
It's a tough one.
I'd say go for a lease. Daddy leased his.
Yeah.
Just remember, I never contact Carly.
You're not getting nothing.
How many kilometers would you put on in a year? Like, you think you get that?
Under 16,000?
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't take it to conferences, but even if I took it to conferences, like even in Toronto, like I'm very confident that I would be under 16,000 for a year.
If you're leasing, the only reason you're gonna lease it is to keep the payment lower and then buy it out.
But then your
again.
buyout is more.
No, your
Yeah.
buyout's already set when you
Yeah.
lease it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how many kilometers you put on,
Uh-huh.
it's not gonna change the price.
So which one, what about for gas? What's the?
Oh,
Oh, the Maverick would be way better on, Maverick would
Maverick
be less,
would be better,
less than
yeah.
this. Unless I'm towing something.
Uh-huh.
You move that stage though.
we also do have a township vehicle that's easier on gas that the building department has.
Yeah.
So if there is a time where it needs to be taken in long distances, Tyler wouldn't have a problem, having that. You just make different arrangements or drive the vehicle. Do we even know exactly what is wrong with the truck right now, other than the battery and maybe the alternator, maybe not? I'm wondering if getting a diagnosis of exactly what is wrong with it, and I know that Colton had taken it there to see, approximate cost of what it's going to take to fix, but I don't know what exactly it is that's wrong with it, and then how long that truck is going to last. Maybe you can get, we already are in, May, and maybe we can get another year out of it, and council can put some thought into either, again, putting out an RFP for a used vehicle or an RFP for a lease. Doesn't matter what decision is made, if you're going buying new, leasing, or if you're going to do used, you still have to follow the procurement process, so it is still a process.
So yeah, what's wrong with it is it has a transmission fluid leak, it has a 4x4 differential, it's gone. The alternator battery could be messed up, the front door doesn't latch, the engine light's on, it has over 275,000 kilometers on it. Probably new tires at some point soon too.
And just take it for a drive if you want a good experience.
Yeah.
It's a piece of junk.
It's a piece of junk. Bob?
Yeah, just don't forget about the Trump effect either, what may happen in the next 12 months.
Yeah. So. put the question up.
We can't even make movies in Canada anymore.
Did you want to make a motion in regards to leasing a vehicle?
I have no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Carl wants to put a motion forward that we lease the vehicle.
Well, you have to write it out.
Well, start writing there.
I don't want to just make you financial. When these cost us more, is it going to be better to buy it out directly?
Lease will cost more in the long run.
Yeah,
The lease will keep our payment down for 4 years, and then the buyout. I don't remember.
So at least will allow us to take a bigger chunk of it to a future council.
Yes. It's not
Still
together.
some of us.
So
Motion to lease.
It will be, yeah. Like, the cheapest way to buy it is to pay cash today.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wait, just wait.
with all the cash in your hand, then you can get a better deal.
And we're sort of in a position that we could do that.
Yeah, I don't really like the.
No.
The only thing, if we put the RFP out for a used vehicle and we can get this one,
Well, we can get
it's
junk.
2019 with 80,000 kilometers on it, which is nothing. Ford has aluminum body, so the body is, there's no rust.
And Teddy knows whose truck
Well, I'm
it
pretty
was.
sure I know whose it was, and if it is, it was never ever abused. I'd have to find out, but
Yeah. Like, who's passing a motion right now with everything in front of us to say we're gonna lease it rather than buy it is making a decision to spend more money than we need to.
So how long is the RFP process? Like, how soon do we have an answer on this? For, let's say, the used truck. We said we want a truck, a used truck, for $31,000. How long is the process? Is it a couple weeks for a turnaround?
Yeah, it's depending on what council wants the turnaround to be.
Okay.
Basically, how quickly you can get the RFP.
Does it have to go in paper?
It depends.
no, I don't think so, because we pick our contractors, we invite who we want
Okay.
Right, yeah.
for other stuff,
That's
so.
what I know, we pay the contracts, the hydraulic, and
Yeah.
everything. I send them all, so I get them.
So how would you tender for a used truck? So we'd want a 219 Ford with only 80,000 kilometers on it.
White.
No,
You
but-
put a tender out for $31,000 for a used truck and see what comes back, and then you decide.
Truthfully, I wouldn't put a price tag on it, but I would just say like 2019 or newer with huge humidity.
Okay.
Put 31,000 on it, they're coming in at 20,
Yeah.
29.9, they're 30,
We're only gonna get one back though. It's gonna come from someone, I know that.
No, but I get that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put a price tag.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
You know, we could get another one back, you know,
We
might
could.
be another truck out there.
Yeah,
There might not be, but we're definitely gonna get a better deal that way than we are just saying tonight we're gonna lease a car.
So why don't we do that? Can we
Put a tender up
That's all
for
we're
it.
told.
put a tender out for a used truck, like you said, a 2019 or newer, under 100,000
2019,
kilometers?
22, something like that,
So this is our first time doing it, so give us advice.
for a used
can
one.
we just?
We usually just
Put
buy.
this off until tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
please. Let me make a few phone calls and just. Well, I can get more information about the truck and then we can make our decision from there.
Okay.
That's fair. Okay. Brian, you okay with that?
Again, we could do this outside of the budget process as well.
Yes.
You know, like if your truck died in July, we'd have to do it in July, we would be
Right.
waiting for a budget process.
To be determined. Okay?
What do you take it on trade?
The Rosebery is a good truck.
You can have it back.
Yeah. You're the one who caused all the
You got a
damage.
2018.
We
We can trade.
Yeah, you can have that one, sure.
I'll buy the truck, I live down, I live at Ball Hills when the job started, like early.
Go through the neighbor's garage.
Colton, do you have anything else for, on yours? Anybody have any other questions for Colton?
Well, let's see how much money we can dollars here.
Okay, now, just a couple questions on the outdoor rinks.
Now, I want before, Dale's in here too for fixing and all the stuff that has to go into the outdoor rinks maintenance wise as well.
Okay, my first question was Killaloo rink, the 20,000. What was it?
Where are we here?
At 7,200, 7,135. I'm pretty sure we did talk about it, but I can't remember what the 20,000 was for.
Is that your reports, Colton? The advertising?
No, not for that, like that'd be Dale in there as well.
Yeah, I know,
But the
that
cost?
part of it?
The 5,000 right now?
Yes.
Yes, yes. The 3,000 would contribute to that 20.
I just can't for the life of me remember what the 20 was. And I was looking at it today and I couldn't remember.
I can find out what that was.
And then the Round Lake Recreation Property, I'm assuming that is the dock, the grates, the launch, and the Olympia and the furnace. So that was all inclusive in that one, okay. And the station park for 4,500. Does anyone remember what that one was for?
Play structure area.
Is it for the mulch?
Yeah.
Did we confirm that? I don't remember confirming
We
that.
haven't confirmed, Dale was gonna come back to us, I think, with something.
He was talking to me about local supply
Uh,
that didn't sell to us, but now will.
oh,
So we would, like as a municipality, we would have to go truck it ourselves and then place it there.
okay.
You have to talk to Dale at the village to make sure, but yes, I remember him telling me that we might have to go.
Okay.
Mulch, is that expensive?
Yeah. Can we make sure is that what that is, Tammy? That 4,500 that's in there, is that the mulch in Station Park?
I'll clarify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that expensive.
Information booth. Okay, economic development. So the first line is for the banners. Computer services, that was for some program you were getting, wasn't it?
Oh, that's for the website?
The website. And the 2710 account, that was for the swag.
That is for the Beaver Tails.
No, Beaver Tails is next. Is under, I Beaver Tails under miscellaneous.
Contribution share of cost, $5,000.
Oh, what was the 2,500 then? Is that for swag? I reversed it.
Miscellaneous is for KHR merchandise slash swag, yes.
Okay, I reversed it, sorry. Okay. Any other questions overall? Okay. And then we'll go on, that's the end of this meeting, we'll go on to committee.
I have no business.
Do you have any business? Okay.
So I just need to make a formal apology for using profanity in the March 17th meeting. I got upset and I swore and I shouldn't have, and I apologize for doing that if I offended anybody.
Okay. Okay,
When might we be discussing next steps of our tax rate?
Getting it done.
probably as soon as, can we go into committee and then come back out of committee to resume? And that's what we'll do. So we could do this tonight, Bill.
Okay.
So, we're gonna go to committee and
What are we
hopefully
going into committee for?
individuals. So, we can go in committee probably for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll resume back in the regular meeting. Is that the format we would do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moved by Brian Bukowski, second by Carl Keel. Be it resolved that the committee move into closed meeting pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay. If anybody wants to stay, we'll be back in 15 minutes. If not sooner.